Holly here today for Your Next Stamp, and we're going to be creating this cute little mini popcorn box. I'm going to be using the mini popcorn box die from Your Next Stamp. This is from the latest release. Going to start out die cutting 2 panels from some white cardstock. I'm using heavier cardstock using the Basil Marshmallow. And then I also cut 1 panel from some Cool Caribbean cardstock. And then I'm going to go ahead and just remove some of those metal pieces you get from dies sometimes with white cardstock when it's real thick. With my little sand eraser, it just takes it right off. So it doesn't leave that gray effect on there you get sometimes. I'm going to use my bone folder to score on all the score lines to make sure I have a nice crease. This die is really nice because it does give you those nice score lines. And I'm going to use some score tape. I actually have the 1/4 inch score tape here, but I'm actually cutting it in half because I wanted a nice thin strip. So it leaves about 1/8 of an inch is what that little tab is on each panel there. And then when you assemble this box, you're going to take the 2 panels and line them up next to each other, and you're going to take the panel on the right and take that tab and add it to the end of the panel on the left. And then you're going to bring the tab on the left back around to the end of the panel on the right. So you're kind of interlocking them together with the tabs that are on the end there. Hope that makes sense. It pretty much works like most of the other 3D dies that are on the market. This is just I really like the size of this one. It's actually pretty wide. And you could actually cut another one out of some wax paper or parchment paper and assemble it together and then slip it down inside. And you could actually put some real popcorn or some other type of open candy in it. It'd be really cute on a table for a party or a kid's party. So then I'm going to add some score tape down on the inside flaps. I'm putting it on just 2 of the flaps. You could put it on the first 2 as well. But I just folded the first 2 in, let them lay loose, and then I folded 1 in and then another one in with the adhesive on it, one over top of the other. There's not a lot of overlap, so you just kind of rub the bottom with your bone folder, and that will make sure everything sticks together. And this will give it a nice strong hold. So then to create the little lines that I have on the box, I took the extra panel that I die cut, and you only need 1, and I'm just cutting straight down from each scallop. You can cut at an angle or you can cut straight down. You don't have to measure anything. This doesn't have to be perfect, but you could get your ruler out if you really wanted to. And you only need 1 panel. That gives you enough little tabs to cover the whole box. I'm going to start by cutting that tab off of the one side there because I only want these scalloped pieces. So I'm going to take the scallop piece and add a thin strip of glue behind it. And then I'm going to put that scallop down onto the box. Just flushing it to the corner there. And then I'm going to repeat the process going around the whole way, cutting each little scallop out. And I just skip each one to give you that striped look that you have on a popcorn box. And you could easily do this with red popcorn, like make like a red popcorn box, or you could do black for Halloween or something fun like that. Lots of different things you could do with this box. So here you can see what the finished product looks like. It has those scallops all the way around the edge there. So then I'm going to go ahead and get started on the images, and I'm going to be using a piece of Nina Solar white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp some of the images from the All Aboard Bunch of Happiness and the All Aboard Spring Carts from Your Next Stamp. This is also from the March release. And I'm using the Your Next Stamp Black Olive ink. This ink is specially formulated to be used with Copic markers. You do see me stamp the images twice here, but you do not have to do that with this ink. I, however, am using the wrong size block. Therefore, I'm not putting the image down on the paper correctly. But I have no problem getting a perfect impression with this ink every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in the images, and I'm using my Copic markers. And I'm just using a mixture of 3 Copics pretty much for each thing. I'm using some Y images for the chicks, a YG for the little beak, C1 for the whites on the ears and the flower, and then I'm using a mixture of some greens for the leaves around the flowers. And I'll put the actual marker colors in the description box below. That way you can follow along if you wanted to use the same colors. So once I have all the images colored in the way I want them, I'm going to go ahead and die cut these with the coordinating die cuts. And the images all come from the All Aboard Bunch of Happiness, and the sentiment I'm using comes from the All Aboard Spring Carts. The sentiment will say Happy Easter as we get there. So I'm going to go ahead and use the coordinating die cuts and run that through my Big Shot. Then once I have the images die cut, I'm also going to die cut one of the new mini movie film strips from some black cardstock. And I'm going to cut 2 banners from the Cool Tag 3 set, one from white cardstock and one from black. That's that wavy little banner there. This is the Cool Tag 3 die set. You can see what that looks like there. I just like to tap my die on the table and it just makes the paper pop right out without having to poke it with anything. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment using Ocean Mist ink. This is a new ink color from Your Next Stamp. Just came out this month as well. This is a real pretty aqua blue color. And you'll see here that this is the first time I'm using the ink and it's first impression with the stamp and it's perfect. I didn't have to double stamp. I didn't have to use my Misty. Nothing like that. And to get the image to curve, I actually flip the die over on my desk and then I lay the block on top of it and then I curve the stamp. Because then when you flip it around, it's perfect for your piece of paper that you die cut from the die. So there you can see I stamped it. I didn't need to double stamp it. It's perfect. So I'm going to glue the white banner to the back of the, or to the top of the black banner. I'm going to offset that a little bit to create a shadow for the banner. And then for the film strip die, this die is super skinny. It's like I want to say three quarters of an inch wide by like 2 3/4 long maybe, or 1 3/4 long. It's very skinny and detailed. You'd want to use some super fine glue or some double-sided glue paper tape stuff, whatever that's called. Sticky stuff, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway. I'm going to use the Xyron sticker maker and run mine through there. Stick it paper, I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I'm just going to run it through the sticker maker here. I'm just going to slide it through and then I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder when it comes out to try to get as much of that sticky stuff off as I can. And you can use any detailed small embossing images or embossed die cut images you have. And here I'm just using my picker tool to poke all the little holes and make sure I get all the adhesive out of it. And then I'm going to adhere the 2 little chicks to the inside of the frame, popping the tops up on the outside. Then once I have the 2 of them in there where I want them, I'm going to add a little bit of glue behind each body. And then I'm going to lay this down on a piece of white cardstock. And I'm just using the scrap cardstock that I have on the table. Making sure I get an area though where there's nothing behind it so you don't see it once I cut it out. So I'm just going to lay that down on the white cardstock. Make sure everything's adhered nice and flat. And then I'm just going to trim it out with my scissors. Trim along the edge there. You could pre-trim it to make sure it matches up, but this was a lot easier since I used that sticker maker to create the sticker. Sorry, I kind of go off camera here a little bit. But it's a straight edge all the way around. You could just use your scissors. Just cut that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of the popcorn maker with some of the liquid glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on the back side of it. And then I'm just going to lay that down directly onto the front of the mini popcorn box, kind of offset a little bit. And then I'm going to add the flowers with some foam tape so they partially pop up in the center of the film strip. And then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of the sentiment banner. I'm going to adhere that as well. And then you just fill the box up with some candy. And it's perfect. You can put some tissue paper in there, some grass. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.